So hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Java Guru Ravi, and I Ravi Khan Sahu welcome you in this new video. So let's get started. So hello everybody, so in today's video we are going to discuss the operators. So although the operators are similar to what you have already studied in some other programming languages, but there are some operators which are slightly different and which are holding certain concepts. So in this video we'll be talking about all the operators. So first of all, if I talk about the operators, so broadly we categorize the operators into three categories, and this three category is based on the number of operands. So operands are the values in which you want to apply certain operator. Let's say you want to write a plus b. So a is a operand and b is the second operand and plus is the operator. So basically based on the number of operands, we have three types of operators. First one is unary operator. Unary operator says that only one operand will be there. And second one is binary operator. Binary operators are the most common operators. Most of the operators are binary. Binary operators are simply saying, okay, we need two operands, the first operand and the second operand. Third one is ternary operator. Ternary operator is taking three operands. So there is only one ternary operator, that is if then else. So this is something that is generally asked in the Oracle certification exam also. So we will be covering it in detail. Plus, if you talk about the unary operators, so there are total 5 unary operators. So first unary operator is logical NOT operator. Second one is plus operator, addition operator. Third one is minus operator, that is subtraction operator. Fourth one is plus plus, that is increment operator. And fifth one is minus minus, that is decrement operator. So overall there are 5 unary operators. And unary operator, again repeating, it works with a single operand. Like you can write a plus plus or minus minus b or not of x. So not of x means it is a Boolean not operator, right? So it will be just inverting the true to false and false to true. So these are certain unary operators. Now we'll be talking about the ternary operator, if then else. So for this ternary operator we'll be having a detailed video. So we'll be covering it later. But now the most common one, which is binary operator. So we are going to talk about the binary operators. So this is the categorization based on the number of operands. Now we'll be talking about the categorization based on the operation performed, means type of operands. Earlier we categorized based on the number of operands. Now we are going to categorize the type of operands. So there are total of 5 different types of operators. So we'll be discussing all of them. Majority of them are same that you have already learned, but some of them are different. So first one is assignment operator. Assignment operator is equal to operator, which is generally saying, okay, I will be assigning the right side value to the left side variable, right? If I am writing here, let's say I write a equal to 5. If I am writing a equal to 5, so a equal to 5 means the right side is the value. It may be some variable or it may be some literal value. So this simply assignment says ki, okay, this right side value is going to be assigned to the left side operand. The left side will be always a variable, right? So it will be assigning the value 5 to variable a, or it could have been something like this, okay, int x is equal to 10 and I am having int a. So I will be writing here a is equal to x. So again if you talk about this case, so x is the value which is 10. So this value 10 will be assigned to the variable a. So this is your simple assignment operator, but sometimes you get confused which value will be assigned to which particular member, right? So this is your addition operator, assignment operator. Then the second category is arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are the most common operators. and there is no change here. If you talk about the arithmetic operators, so we have plus operator, that is addition operator. We do have the minus operator, subtraction. Then we have multiplication, which will multiply the two operands. Then division operator and the modulus operator. So if you talk about this arithmetic operator, there is a point which is to be understood here is that these operators work minimum with int type. This is something that I have already covered in the data types also. But these operators will be taking the operands which should be of minimum int type. Right? So we'll understand this thing. So let us talk about the plus operator or minus operator or multiplication division. This is modulus operator, it gives you the remainder value. Right? It means 13 modulus 3 will give you 1. Right? 15 modulus 2 will give you 1. So let us understand this arithmetic operator. There is only one important point here. Let's say I am writing here int x is equal to 5 and I am writing here byte y is equal to 2. So both are the correct variable declaration. Int x is equal to 5 and byte y is equal to 2. Now if I am writing here, okay, byte result is equal to x plus y. If I try to execute this code, so this code will give you compilation error. The reason being, here we are using the arithmetic operator. Whenever using this operator, so this operator says ki what is the type of the first operand? This is of int type. And what is the type of second operator? It is of byte type. Fine. So int and byte, it means whenever you apply the operator, both the operands must be on the same level, right? And to bring it into the same level, the simple concept is widening. You cannot do narrowing because narrowing is explicit. So here widening will be taking place. So y will be converted from byte to int. Why int? Because x is of int type. Fine. So this x is int type, y will be also widened to int type. Now the result is int plus int will be int. Means 5 plus 2 will be 7. So result will be 7. But 7 is the result which is int type. And I am assigning this to the byte type variable. So int cannot be assigned to the byte type. Int to byte, it is narrowing. So here we have to do the typecasting of the result. It means we have to write byte x plus y. Right? So this is required here because the result is of int type and we have to store into the byte type variable. So from higher precision to the lower precision conversion is required, which will be of narrowing, which is explicit. Right? Same thing if you go with the second example here. This time I am saying ki, okay, I am having two byte values, byte y is equal to 2 and x is equal to let me take it, byte y is equal to 2 and let's say long x is equal to 5, right? And I am saying ki my int result is equal to x plus y. So if you see here now, I want to do the x plus y here. The type of x is long. So this is of long type and this is of byte type. So two operands are of different types. So here it will be widening. Both are supposed to be converted into the same type. So obviously byte will be promoted to long. Now the result is long plus long. So it means 5 plus 2, 7 will be a long variable. Now I am trying to assign the long value to the int type of variable. So long to int, again narrowing. It means this statement will give you error. You need to write here int type x plus y. Right? The result is of long type. Why? Because one operand is of long type and second operand is of byte type. So both will be coming to the highest level of the operands. So first thing it will be converting into int, but if any operand is of some higher type than the int, so both the operands will be of that higher type only. Previous example, they will be converted to int, but this example they will be converted to long because the highest type here is long type. Fine. So this is the important concept regarding these operators when you are working with some numeric types. So arithmetic operators, that's all about the arithmetic operators. Fine. Rest everything is clear. Plus, minus, multiplication, division and modulus. So this will be giving you the result. Then you will talk about the logical operators. So in the arithmetic operators, I told you arithmetic operators will be working with the numeric types only. Means you can work with byte, short, int, long, float and double. Plus one more important point here is character type is also compatible for the arithmetic operators. Means you can perform arithmetic operation on the char type also. Right? This is the important point. It means if you have created a char variable, let's say I am writing char c is equal to 65. So this is something we have already discussed in the data types, that char can be assigned the int type of value during the declaration first time. So char c I am assigning 65, it means it represents capital A. Now character has been given the option, okay, you are compatible with the arithmetic operators, right? It means you can, again the point here is you can internally modify its value, because char will not allow you to reassign an int value. Reassignment is not allowed. That's why if you try to write here c is equal to c plus 2, means I want to convert a to c or a to d, so I will be writing c is equal to c plus 3. So this statement will give you compilation error. Why this is a compilation error? Because this is external operation. First of all, the value of c will be taken out from the char variable c, which is 65. Then you will add 3, it will become 68. Now you are trying to assign this into c variable. So this is, character will say, sorry, I cannot allow you to assign the int value again. Only you can assign during the declaration. So this is going to give you an error. If you want to write like this, so you need to do the typecasting here in char, and you can write c plus 3. So this is okay. This is explicit typecasting, because I told you char to any number type is explicit typecasting. But during the declaration you can assign some int type of value to the char variables. Fine. So this is the solution. You can do like this. But Java has provided you the another option also, that is called as compound assignment. Very important in terms of interviews. When we talk about the compound assignments, so what happens? Generally in the interview we say ki these are same. They are not the same. They have some specific use here. So let us understand. Is if you are writing like this, so it will require explicit typecasting. This is something I have already told you. But the same thing you could have written something like this: c plus is equal to 3. C plus is equal to 3. This is having the same functionality, but this is internal increment. Compound assignment is not same as this one. Compound assignment is allowing you to increment the C within C. So this statement will compile without any kind of typecasting. This is the use of compound assignment. Right? And this compound assignment exists with majority of the binary operators. Whether you talk about arithmetic, compound arithmetic are existing, compound logical are existing. So these operators, compound assignment, they are saying, okay, we will be not fetching the value out of the variable, rather we will update it inside the variable itself. So this will be compiling. Similarly, if you write here C++, this is also working, but what is the problem here? It will increment by 1 only. You cannot increment by 3 in a single go. If you want to increment by 3, you have to write it 3 times. So this can also work, but if you have this compound assignment, then we need not to write it 3 times. Very simple. So this is your compound assignment. Very important, again repeating, compound assignment is not similar. It is similar in functionality, but it is not the same. There's something different, and what is that different? You can see in terms of the character type, right? So this is your character type with arithmetic operators. Then coming to the logical operators. Logical operators, first thing important point about this is logical operators work with the Boolean operands. Logical operators will always work with the Boolean operands. Like arithmetic, we told you that it will be working with the number types, numeric types. But logical operators says that both the operands must be Boolean, right? And this AND operator says, AND operator functionality is the result will be true only when both the operands are true. Otherwise, the result will be false, right? Similarly, OR operator says if both the operands are false, then the result is false. Otherwise, the result will be true. Then XOR operator says that if both the operands are same, then the result is false. If both the operands are different, then the result will be true. Means true XOR true will give you false. False XOR false will give you false. True XOR false will give you true. False XOR true will give you true. So if both the operands are different, then only the result is true. Here both the operands are true, then the result is true. Here both the operands are false, then only the result is false. Then this is NOT operator, logical NOT. This is the unary operator also. It is saying if the result is true, NOT will convert it to false, and if the operand is false, it will convert it to true. Now there are two important operators here in the logical, which are again something which is asked in the interviews. So this is called as short circuit and this is called as short circuit OR. Right? So short circuit and short circuit OR, these operators are very vital when you write some logical codes. And it is having some important behavior, that's what we have to understand. So let us talk about the short circuit and short circuit OR. So what happens in case of short circuit AND? Short circuit AND simply says that if the first condition is false, in case of AND operator, what happens? If the first condition, first operand is false, then the result is already declared. Result is going to be false only, because AND will give you true only when both the operands are true. But if you have evaluated the first operand and it gives you the false, then it is useless to go to the second operand, right? So it is saying okay, short circuit AND will be saying okay, if first operand is returning false, so do not evaluate the second one, right? Similarly, short circuit OR says in the normal OR what is happening? If the first operand is true, let's say I am talking about the OR operator, if first operand is true, so do you need to evaluate the second one? Because first operand is true, it means result is already declared, it is going to be true. So it is saying okay, if the first operand is true, then do not evaluate the second. But the normal AND operator, even if the first one is false, it will evaluate the second one also. Although it is not going to make any difference here, but still it will going to second part. Same with the OR operator. In the OR operator, if first one is true, it is useless to go to the second half. So this is the use of short circuit AND and short circuit OR. If you want to ensure, basically short circuit AND is used to ensure that when this first condition is true, then only second condition should be executed. That is called as first operand should be primary condition, second operand must be secondary condition. Let us take an example to understand this. Let's say I want to find out the result of division. Let's say I am having two values, int A and B, right? And I want to find out the result of A divided by B. I am saying कि okay int result is equal to a divided by b, right? So this statement may give you a problem. When it will be a problem? When b will be 0. Division by 0 is runtime error, arithmetic exception, right? So in case of Java, you cannot divide an integer type of value by some 0 value. It will be a runtime error. So in this case, what we have to check is, I will be checking here if, what I will be writing here is first primary condition. What is my primary condition? I am saying my primary condition should be that b should not be 0. If b is 0, then we should not go to the second half. So I will be writing here if b is not equal to 0. This is my primary condition. If this condition is true, then only I need to go to the second one. Understood? If b is 0, I must not go to the second condition, otherwise we will give the error. So I will be writing here and a divided by b, right? Is it clear? So I am writing here b is not equal to 0. Suppose my b is 0. Suppose my b is 0. So what is going to happen? This result false. So this short circuit and will say कि okay, do not execute this. Do not execute this because I am going to say कि okay, if a divided by is greater than 1. Suppose I want to check कि okay, a divided by must be greater than 1. This is my condition. But I am saying कि okay, wait, a divided by should not be directly calculated because b may be 0. So I am saying कि what is my primary task now? B should not be 0. So I have written here b is not equal to 0. This is my primary condition. Although I want to do this task, but I have to be careful because b may be 0. I will be writing b not equal to 0 and short circuit end. So short circuit end will say okay, when this condition is true, then only I will execute this, right? So if this b is 0, so it will say okay, this condition is false. So if this condition is false, so it will never execute this. It means you will never get the exception, arithmetic exception. But suppose you are writing a normal AND here. This is normal logical AND. Here it will be saying okay, even if you have b is equal to 0 and a equal to 5, so it will say b not equal to 0, it will say yes, b is equal to 0, it will return false. But still, because it is a logical AND, it will execute this. It will execute this and it will give you runtime error. So here, this is the use of short circuit AND. When you want to ensure that the primary condition is met, then only you need to evaluate the secondary condition. Same thing we do in the linked list also. We write a loop. Let's say you have to jump by the two nodes. You write the logic of jumping by two nodes, you are moving to the alter nodes, you are creating a faster pointer. So what you write here is, you write something like this, node pointer ptr. Let's say you start from the first node, then you write the condition. Because you want to jump to the two nodes. So first of all, if you want to jump to the two nodes, so first of all you will have to ensure the first node must exist. If the first node is not existing, you cannot go to the next node. So what you write here, the condition, while ptr is not equal to null. Although I am not interested to go to the ptr, I am interested to go to the second node. So I am saying ptr is not equal to null, then short circuit end. Short circuit end, then what is the secondary condition? ptr link is also not equal to null. What is the benefit here? If ptr will be null, so I will be not going to this. I will not be checking to this ptr link because it is a short circuit end. Let's say you are at the null pointer and you are not checking whether ptr is null or not, and you are directly writing ptr link. So null pointer exception will be there because null is not having any link. So that's why I am checking ptr is not null, which means ptr exists. If ptr exists, so its link will also be existing. So I can say ptr ka link can also be tested. But if you put here a logical AND only, it will give you a runtime error. Right? So this is the use of short circuit and short circuit OR operator. So I hope you understood the concept of short circuit and short circuit OR. Next is relational operator. There is nothing new in the relational operator. It's very easy. Equal to operator, comparison operator, not equal to operator. Both the operands should be different. Double equal to means comparison operator. Both the operands must be same. Less than, greater than or less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So simple. The result of this relational operator is always Boolean. The point here is that logical operators work with the Boolean operands, but relational operators can work with different types of operands, maybe numeric operands, but its return value will be always a Boolean. So this relational operator is generally used in case of if, else if, and we use inside the loop also. So these relational operators are used in those cases. So this is your relational operator. Now we have bitwise operator. So bitwise operator is something which works with the bits, right? Let's say I have written here a number int x is equal to 13, and I am writing here, okay, my result should be not of x. So this is your bitwise not operator. It will be simply inverting the bits. Then we have bitwise AND operator. When both the bits are 1, then the result will be 1, otherwise the result will be 0. Third one is bitwise OR operator. It is saying if both the bits are 0, then only the result will be 0, otherwise the result will be 1. XOR operator, bitwise XOR, it says if both the bits are different, then the result will be 1, otherwise the result will be 0. These are the three shift operators. This is called as right shift operator, this is called as unsigned right shift operator, and this is called as left shift operator. So this bitwise operator and the ternary operator will be covering in the separate video. So that's all for this. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you find this video useful, so please like, subscribe and share with all of your friends so that they can also get benefited. Ravikant Sahu signing off. Thank you.